Hi everyone, this is Jess. Welcome to episode 3 of Rescue Roundtable. I'm here on my own today. Tamsin and Gab are taking a break after a very big week and weekend at RAA. It's been really crazy, so I am going to have to keep looking down at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. I wanted to kick off by updating you guys on some of the cases that we had in that we discussed in last week's episode. So the 3 Pomperol pups, they were the ones that we had posted about on our socials, really quite skinny. And so with your help, we were able to fly them in. They went straight off to the vets, and they are each at their new carers' houses. They've been named Peanut was the little blue one. She's a female. Nova was the brown and white one. She's also a female. And then Jacko was the black and white one with that really straight mark across his face. It was a really cool marking. So they're all doing well, putting on weight. Coda. So she was the girl that we busted out of the pound and needed to terminate a pregnancy of hers because she was only housed with her siblings. So yeah, she's doing really well. It was quite a big surgery. She didn't really react too well to it. She was doing, a lot of vomiting, lethargic, unhappy. But she's up now with her new carer in Cooktown, and she's doing really well. So again, thank you to all of our supporters for being able to enable us to do things like this. It really is amazing when you sit back and think about everything that we've been able to achieve together over the past 2 years of RAA running. It's pretty incredible. We are probably going off on a tangent already. We do get a lot of comments saying, for every dog that you take in, there's 100 more just waiting to take its place, meaning there's so many strays in remote communities, so many dogs in need of help. And it is true, absolutely true. We totally understand that. But to the dogs that we do save, it makes such a big difference. And it's so rewarding and beautiful to be able to, every now and then we get an update from their adopter, and, it's been 2 years down the track for some of the dogs that have come through, and it's amazing. They look like completely different dogs. They've learned how to play, how to love. They get to sleep inside on beds. They have, the most high quality diets. They get treated like royalty, some of these dogs, and it's absolutely what they deserve after tough starts to life. So, yeah, we understand that saving one dog at a time isn't really making an impact on the situation up there. And as some of you guys might have seen, I commented on in a few responses to one of the posts that we had made during the week, which I'll get to. But yeah, we had a lot of comments saying, like, you're not making a difference, blah, blah, blah. And I replied back basically saying that we do have plans to make an impact in these communities, desexing clinics, mobile vet clinics. Ideally, we'd love to get a mobile vet clinic that goes up there, once a month to all these communities, just to provide that ongoing vet care. But of course, it all costs money. It all means that we have to have good, solid relationships, trust from community members, community elders, council leaders. They've got to trust our organisation before we can actually execute any of these projects, and we have to secure funding. So that will either be in the form of grant funding. Potentially some of these councils, once we've established relationships, might like to chip in for some of the services that we're providing, but they do honestly have very tight budgets. And I've seen that firsthand. I've looked through, all of these councils have to publicise their finances, and you can see the funding that they get in versus the funding that they expend. And yeah, so there's not a lot of room, which is why we understand that these situations can occur in remote communities with lots of strays and everything like that, because council isn't an endless pool of money. If it was, everything would be pristine, but there are other priorities in these communities, understandably. So where am I going with this? yeah, just getting back to the fact that we do have big plans. We do know that we need, larger scale projects and desexing and vet work and all of these things to truly make an impact. And just trust us when I say we're working towards it. Lots of grant applications happening in the background. We've been knocked back a lot lately. So that's a little bit disheartening sometimes when you put, hours and hours or days and days into a grant application and get, a no. You've got to expect it. There's always going to be more applicants than there is money. But yeah, it can be a little bit disheartening. But we are still chipping away at them. If there's anyone out there who would like to help us with some grant applications, that would be amazing. You don't need to have any experience. It's simply just, answering questions in a grant application form, writing about what we want to achieve, why we want to achieve it, why it's needed, those sorts of things. So if you do have a way with words, or even if you're a good, essay writer, anything like that, we'd love to have you on board. Just reach out via our Facebook. Anyway, I really went off on a tangent there. So that was the updates from last week. This week, that's just been, wow, what a week. So I think the first thing that springs to mind is the 2 puppies that were found in a pound up in northern Cape York, and one of which had a really, really large abscess, like the worst abscess that I've ever seen, on its front leg, and was really flat, lethargic, pale gums, not wanting to eat. So a lovely police officer in the community took both of those dogs in for us overnight, cleaned them up, picked off the thousands of ticks. Like, that takes hours and hours and hours. Police officer said it's actually, in a way, a really rewarding job, because once the puppies, have had a few ticks picked off them, they were like, oh, okay, she's here to help, and they just go to sleep while you're picking them off, and you have a bathtub full of ticks from, cleaning your tweezers in the water to drown the ticks. And yeah, so she said it's a bit of a backbreaker sitting there for hours and hours picking these ticks off, but she got it done, and I bet those pups felt a lot better after that. So yeah, they overnighted this amazing carer. She had some antibiotics that she was able to give them. We did discuss with a vet their case and said this is what the carer has. So antibiotics, gabapentin, even some meloxicam, which is a painkiller. So really they were in the best of hands. She cleaned the abscess, bandaged it up according to how the vet wanted it, and the pup survived overnight, which was really amazing, knowing that they then had bellies full of food and antibiotics and on board and all of those things. It's like, yes, they might make it, because it was really unknown for a while there. So they flew down into Cairns on, I think it was Friday morning or Thursday morning, can't really remember, straight to the vets. And they stayed overnight at the vets, just one night, I believe. And yeah, the vet said they were positive for hookworm, which interestingly, the vet explained that hookworms, attached to the lining of the gut, and an adult hookworm removes 1 ml of blood per worm per day. So if you have 100 worms in the pup system, it's 100 mils of blood leaching out of that puppy's bloodstream every day. And the worms only use a tiny percentage of it. So there's just lots of wasted blood leaking all through the gut. And that's why their poo is so dark. It's just essentially blood stained. So they said that was actually the biggest concern, not the abscess, the hookworm bed, and they wouldn't have been able to survive much longer. Yeah, so that was really quite a serious burden that they had, which is why they stayed overnight. But then they got released. They both went to the same carer, which is really nice when you're able to keep pups together, just, while they're still building their strength, rather than separating them and causing, a little bit of emotional stress while they're still on the road to recovery. So thank you to their carer, Lynn, who's been able to keep them together for now. Of course, they'll be able to find their own forever home soon. But the female pup, the sister who didn't have the abscess, so she's been named Nikki. The little boy who had the abscess has been named Kira. Nikki was or is just the most beautiful dog. The lady who rescued them up in community said that the sister was just nudging her away from the brother the whole time. She didn't leave her brother's side. She would stand over him. Like, she was just a really protective, beautiful sister to him. So that's really nice. Hopefully she gets adopted. She really deserves it, clearly. All right, so that is those guys. So for those two, we put out a call out for donations because it really did get to a critical level with our bank balance. We were just like, oh, we'd said yes to so many dogs lately. We'd had so much vet work coming up, and you know, past and coming up. And we were just like, we don't even have enough money in the bank account to pay for their vet appointment tomorrow. So we put out an urgent call, and as per usual, you guys responded. It really blows me away. We raised over $8,000 towards the care of these two pups. Obviously, that's more than what we need for them, especially since there was no surgery required on the abscess. So we have brought in some other pups that we've been able to help with, who I'll talk about soon. But yeah, I am just in awe of our community. It's certainly not the easiest of times in terms of, you know, living costs and everything like that. So the fact that when we put a call out, you guys trust us enough to know that we're being genuine and that we really do need the money. And you come forward every time. And I just want to say thank you, because there's nothing harder than, you know, knowing that these cases are happening behind the scenes and thinking, oh my gosh, what if we can't help because we don't have the money? And then to see those donations rolling in, it just lifts the weight off our shoulders. It makes everything easier. We do tirelessly fundraise, you know, with events and other projects and stuff like that. So we don't always need a donation for every single animal that we bring in, because we have all these other things that we've been doing. But in this case, we certainly did. So thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely amazing response. I'm lost for words. So thank you. That's all I can say. So because of the amazing response that we got for those guys, we were able to bring in a few other dogs that urgently needed care, so we could just jump on that and act straight away. So one of which was Bam Bam, cutest name ever. So we received word that there was a dog with an eye injury up in a really northern remote community. And we saw the pictures. It looked terrible, just blood gushing down her face, holding her eye closed. And we were just like, what has happened to this dog? That's besides the point. I'm sure there will be lots of speculation as to what may have happened to her eye. And even amongst ourselves, we were wondering, did someone do this to her? What was going on? I'll get to what actually happened to her eye. But the lady who informed us about Bam Bam, she had said, I want to take this dog home. She's a stray. I work up here. I do fly in, fly out. You know, I've been feeding her. Some other people in the community have been feeding her. She's definitely a stray. I want to bring her back home, which is in Brisbane with me. But I can't do it right now. I'm flying out tomorrow, and I don't know what to do with her because I'm flying out tomorrow. She's got this eye injury. So we flew her down to Cairns and straight into a foster carer's home. She actually ended up being on the same flight as her future adopter, who flew into Cairns first. So the adopter was able to go to the vet with her once she landed in Cairns, which was amazing. The adopter has also contributed a large sum towards her vet fees. So thank you very much for that. Really makes our jobs easier. Anyway, so the vets actually discovered that it was a tumour either within or under her eye that had erupted. So that was a really interesting case. We never would have thought. It just looked like an injury. So Bam Bam is still in Cairns. Her adopter has flown back home to Brisbane. Bam Bam will recover in Cairns. She's got a surgery on Friday this week. And again, we were able to say yes to that surgery without needing to fundraise because of the amazing response that we had to our call out for Nikki and Kira. So yeah, once she's recovered, she's going to be flying down to Brisbane and living happily ever after down there. So that was a really easy rescue in terms of logistics compared to what we're used to. Everything worked out so swimmingly. You know, flew straight into Cairns, straight to the vets. Turned out to just be a tumour, so she gets to keep her eye. Already has an adopter. Yeah, so that was a really nice story. We've also brought Stevie into care, or are bringing him into care. He's still in community at the moment. He's a 4-month-old pup who was found in a dump, like he was scavenging in a dump a few months ago. The lovely people in community have, taken him in, fed him up, made sure he's healthy, and then they've reached out to us for help with rehoming, which we absolutely will do. So he'll be coming into care hopefully this week, as soon as we can organise a flight. Which again, we have the money for that. Thank you. Thanks to the amazing response that we had for Nikki and Kira. We were also able to help Lucy. So Lucy is an adult dog who's already in our care. She has heartworm, which she's currently going through the treatment for that. So her immune system's already really run down. And then her carer said that she's been really lethargic. So we were keeping an eye on that. And then she started dripping really, really dark urine. Like it was completely brown. So the carer rushed her straight into the vets. I think that was it was 10 o'clock on one of the weeknights. And yeah, the vets were quite unsure what was going on. They did an ultrasound and everything like that. They suspect that her womb, like her uterus, is infected and is, retaining fluid, I guess. But because she's currently undergoing heartworm treatment, she isn't a good candidate for surgery. So they didn't just want to go exploring to see what was going on. So she stayed 2 nights, I believe, in at the vets and responded really well to antibiotics. So she was able to go home. We don't think she's going to miraculously recover without potentially a surgery. Surgery's still on the cards, but I think the longer that she can hold off on the surgery and the stronger she gets in terms of her heartworm, the better. So we're just keeping a really close eye on that situation. And now we have the money there for a surgery if we do need it. Obviously, a few nights in the vets and an after hours call out and IV fluids, antibiotics, that's not cheap either. So yeah, again, that money has just come in so handy and allows us to just act on these cases and say, yeah, take her into the after hours. Yes, she can stay overnight, all those things without needing to think, oh my God, are we going to be able to pay this bill tomorrow? So yeah, that's the week that's been. We also had an adoption event, which we didn't really advertise too well. So sorry about that, guys. Our amazing social media lady, Billy, has been away. She's studying to be a vet. So she was in her exam period and had a few weeks off. So we were a bit quiet on socials and actually forgot to advertise our adoption day. I think we were just all systems going, getting it off the ground and making sure it was going to happen. Anyway, so that was a bit of a surprise for some people, but we had a really good turnout. We also had a last-minute sausage sizzle. So a few days before the event, Bunnings contacted us and said, we've had a group cancel their sausage sizzle this weekend. Do you want it? We reached out to our volunteers to say, hey, can we get 4 or 5 people together to run this sizzle? Had a great response. They said yes. So we were able to jump on that. Then we were all into running around like headless chooks trying to find 700 sausages, 50 loaves of bread, 40 kilos of onion, people to cut up the onion. We got some frozen onion. Massive shout out to Jen, one of our amazing carers, who cut up 30 kilos of onions, which is no easy feat. So she'll be dreaming of onions for the next few months, I'm sure. Also, a massive thank you to everyone who helped on the day. So the carers who drove all the animals in, hung around, helped on the barbecue. Some carers drove 2 hours one way to bring their dogs to this event in the hopes that they'll find their forever home. We also had a bunch of volunteers who came forward to help with, we had a cupcake stall, the sausage sizzle again. Massive shout out to Az and Kat, who were manning the barbecue in 37-degree heat. Ugh, I can't think of anything worse, but they did it. And again, we raised a few $1,000s from that sausage sizzle adoption day cupcake stall. It was all happening, but again, another couple of grand towards helping other animals. We also did have some adoptions. So Shiloh and Rosie both got adopted at the event. We have one meet and greet lined up following the event. So we also have one dog on hold. So that is Scruffy, who's only new into care, but some adopters down south fell in love with her. Unfortunately, Scruffy is also heartworm positive. I think that brings us up to 5 or 6 heartworm positive dogs in care at the moment at $1,500 a dog for their treatment, and it's roughly a 6-month process. So that really sort of bogs us down in terms of money, foster carers, adoptions, everything like that. But we're not going to do it. Of course, we always get these dogs through their treatment. So Scruffy's on hold until she finishes her treatment, and then she's off down south to her adopters, which is really exciting. And we love a good foster foal. We've had 2 foster fowls this week. So Sprocket has been adopted by his carer, which is really exciting. There's nothing better than a foster foal because it means the dogs don't have to get used to a new environment and a new home. They're already used to it. So that's amazing. And then our very own Az, who's part of the management team here at RAA, has fallen in love with Splash. Splash must be a pretty special dog because in the short few months that we've had Az on board with us, she's had over 10 dogs through her house, and she's always been so strong and not foster fail, but something about beautiful Splash. She said that the morning of the adoption day, when she was due to bring Splash in, she cried thinking that she might get adopted. She's like, oh, this is probably a sign that I need to adopt this dog. And then Gab said she had to laugh because as soon as Az arrived at Bunnings to help set up the adoption day, Gab said the first words Az said to Gab were, I'm adopting Splash. Like she just needed to get it out there before anyone else adopted Splash. So yeah, we're very happy for you, Az. Very happy for Splash. She's really the luckiest girl in the world to be able to live with you. So that is our adoptions. What else do we have to chat about? I think that's pretty much the gist of what's been happening over the past few weeks. We've had a few mentions that people would love like a little picture of the dogs to pop up as we're talking about them. I don't have the skills all the time to make that happen. If anyone edits YouTube videos and would love to make that happen, please reach out. But you can always head over to our Save a Life page where all of our dogs are listed. That's probably the best way. Otherwise, you'll just have to trust us. They're all cute. They're all gorgeous. Yes. So also thought we'd chat about the fact that we sort of record this as a podcast. There's nothing exciting happening in the video. We know that it's probably a bit of a boring video to sit there for 20, 30 minutes and listen to or watch. It is designed to be a podcast where you can just listen to us on the go through Spotify. So as you're driving around or cooking or cleaning, exercising, whatever, you just have us chatting away in the background. It's basically multitasking, which I love. I'm a massive fan of podcasts, but it's also very easy for us to just record the video as we're talking and upload it to YouTube for those who don't use podcasts. So that's why our videos are a bit boring, but yeah, sorry, nothing we can do about it at this stage. A few last things to mention. So Lila is our longest term dog. Her adoption fee has been reduced to $200, which we don't often do, but we're just so keen for her to finally find her forever home before Christmas. She has had amazing carers, but she has been moved around at least 3 times since she's come into RAA's care. So we're hoping that her 4th move will be her final move. She is a gorgeous full Arab sort of staffy cross girl. She's not too big. She'd be, medium large, but she's not like a small horse or anything. She is very mature, calm dog. She doesn't love other dogs, which is probably why she's still up for adoption. But, there are lots of dogs that don't get along with other dogs, and she can definitely be around other dogs. Just requires a slow introduction and doesn't love puppy energy either. So she just would like another calm dog who's going to leave her alone, or a home where she can be the only dog would be ideal. She's been through heartworm. She's been through a rough start to life in a remote community. So we're really pushing for this beautiful girl to find her forever home. So we're going to be doing some more posts on her over the next few weeks. Please like, share, comment those. Candles. Tamsin makes the most amazing candles. We have so many scents, so many jar colours. They are $25 for the small candles, which is still a very decent size. They're like the normal size of a glass house candle. And then we've got extra large candles for $35, I think we've said. They are huge. So reach out to us in the Facebook Messenger to the RAA page. Tamsin can show you all the jars she has available, all the scents available. She makes them to order. We are also going to have some at our next few events. Same with our doggy advent calendars. Please reach out if you would like one. Otherwise, we're going to be having them at our events. They are gorgeous, doggy-licious, ham-flavoured biscuits for your dog. And you get to do all the fun of an advent calendar with your dog being included. Last thing to chat about is our upcoming events. So we have Younger Borough Markets on the 4th weekend of this month. Let me just check the date on that. That's going to be the Saturday, the 23rd of November we're in. And we also have Mission Beach Markets. I think they're on the 1st of December. Don't quote me on that. And we have an exciting event coming up with AJ Hackett, which we will be sharing more about this week. So keep your eyes peeled on our socials with that. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And this has been Rescue Roundtable. Thanks again for all your support, and we will chat to you next week.